This is the first time that they're actually selling bonds before the start of the new year. How much will this help?
That's right. The timing of this is unprecedented. Usually these bonds don't get sold until well into the year after that they're meant to be being sold. So this is for next year's bond. The question of how this will help is very unclear, because the things that are stopping the money being spent from this year's bonds and all the other infrastructure stimulus that the government has already announced is the fact that there's the lockdowns that happen in Shanghai and other places stopped construction happening. So, if there is no more outbreaks of the coronavirus, and if there is no more lockdowns, in major cities and in large places in China going forward for the rest of the year, this may well help, the economy, and may well help, economic activity. But if you see more lockdowns, like Xi'an has just got back into lockdown again. If you see more lockdowns of large places and large cities in China, it's very unclear how this is actually going to assist when people can't go out to work, they can't go out to spend, and they can't go out and work on infrastructure projects. So even if you have all this money, it's very unclear how much that's actually going to help.
James, as you would know, this is the old playbook, right? This is kind of what got us into trouble when it comes to over-leverage in the first place. We know that local government debt doesn't tend to work out very well. Is there that concern?
That's definitely a concern. And one of the reasons why this hasn't worked for the last couple of years is because local governments have been very reticent to spend the money that they get from selling previous lots of bonds. Last year they had 3.65 trillion yuan worth of bonds. This year they've already sold 3.65 trillion worth of bonds. And the reason that hasn't spurred one of the reasons why that hasn't spurred a big boom in infrastructure investment is because they're very cautious about what they spend it on, because they've had so many bad projects in the past, and the central government's been telling them to not waste the money. So on the one hand, they've been told to spend as quickly as possible. On the other hand, they're being told, don't waste this money, don't spend it on bad projects that won't generate returns. So unless there's a change in the lending criteria or on the things they can do with this money, it could either lead to bad debt, or it could just pile up in bank accounts and not actually be used for effective stimulus.